Miyamoto has often said his inspiration for Zelda came from the woods and caves that he explored as a boy, and he's always tried to impart this sense of exploration and limitless wonder to players. And I think you can feel this in every Zelda game, but it's most obvious in Breath of the Wild. This game coaxes out a sense of play, exploration, and wonder in the player. It feels like what I thought games were when I was little. Not a bundle of mechanics and visuals, but a door to a different place. Breath of the Wild is a 2017 open-world action-adventure game developed by Nintendo for the Switch and Wii U. You play as Link, who after a long old snooze has awoken to find Hyrule in a bit of a pickle. In structure, the game is almost entirely non-linear. Everything but a tutorial and defeating Ganon is technically optional. By the end of the tutorial, you'll have the majority of the tools and abilities in the game. Weapons, shields, magnesis, stasis, and even 2 whole different types of bombs. Breath of the Wild wants to give you lots of tools as soon as possible, because every challenge in this game is structured around improvisation and experimentation, which requires options. Encounters are frantic, open-ended puzzles, part exquisitely planned heist, part sticking your hand in a bag and throwing whatever you find. Sure, sometimes you just hit it with a sword, but sometimes you sync up with the game's systems. Maybe you set off a chain reaction of explosions or stasis a weapon out of an enemy's hand just as they attack. These moments are so instantly gleeful and not something I usually have in games. Ordinarily, I'm the kind of player who takes the path of least resistance. If it works, I do it over and over again. But Breath of the Wild encourages a more playful mode. Every enemy camp has a saucy little treat. Even something as simple as an exploding barrel and some sleeping enemies invites you to mess about a bit. Sometimes this encouragement becomes forceful, and that does bother people. For example, the weapons degrade and break because the game knows if I had a sword that was obviously the best and it never went away, that's all I would use. But instead of giving you that one big weapon, the game gives you a large collection of simple but flexible tools. The weapon movesets are shared, the stealth is simple, and the physics system is consistent but surprising. The first time you learn that flaming grass creates an updraft is fantastic, but from then on it's a tool you can reliably return to. It's just a game that constantly turns to you and goes, go on, do something a bit different, have a play, and it gives you the tools to make that process fun and easy. It is a wonderfully childish approach. When playing a game isn't about beating it or winning, it's about poking and prodding at it, just to see what happens. In most games, travel is a thing you do in between gameplay. It's as simple as selecting the icon on your map and following the line. While in Breath of the Wild, travel is gameplay. Just like the combat, it is an open-ended puzzle to solve. You'll start on one of the towers, placing a beacon on a landmark in the distance. But because this game is such a master of sightlines, there will be obstacles you haven't seen, and I guarantee that that cliff is bigger up close and you probably can't just straight climb it. So now you're looking for high places, scouting for alternate routes, and when you finally find one, a storm emerges. So you can either stop and wait for clear skies, or put all your metal away and power through. When you finally get over the cliff, you have a lovely shield slide to your target, but there's always something in the distance, maybe a weird structure or even a hidden shrine to complete. And you're always given a little something for exploring these distractions, even if that's just a Korok seed. So you go have a look. You'll get back to what you're doing at some point, I guess. All these elements turn what is usually a commute into an adventure. Open world games often feel like map-shaped to-do lists. Breath of the Wild doesn't. It feels like a world worth exploring with closely guarded mysteries. It is that limitless wonder that Miyamoto talked about. Everything I've outlined so far is brilliant mechanical design. But strangely, I think where Breath of the Wild most consistently brings me joy is in the presentation. Hyrule is just a pleasant place to while away the hours. There's the big stuff, of course. Every town feels friendly and fantastical, filled with bizarre architecture and kooky characters. Every vista is gorgeous with vibrant colours and an intriguing smattering of landmarks. But a lot of the charm is in the simple little touches, the way Link's backpack rattles as he runs, or the subtle whistling of the wind. Then there's the music. It's a stunning combination of environmental sounds and a sort of subdued piano. Even the enemies, the things out to kill you, are kind of just dopey most of the time. This world confronts you with challenges and threats, but it feels like it does it all with a kind smile and a warm embrace. You know, I was never going to make this video. There's been so much praise for this game. I didn't think I needed to pile on, but in the last year when the world felt a bit dark and a bit dull, there's a reason I returned to Breath of the Wild. It didn't just give me an extraordinary escape, it reminded me that joy can be hidden under any stone, and for that, I think I owe it this video.
So this is the time that I should probably explain where I've been for the last year, but to be honest with you, I just don't have a great story there. It initially started with me trying to make some changes to the way that I made videos, the kind of videos I made. I still wanted to do reviews, but I wanted to change the style of them. I ended up making some videos that I never put out, and then eventually cycled through until I came to this style, which, although seems very similar to what I did before, the way that I write them, the way that I build them, the way that I edit it has changed pretty massively, and I'm much happier with this now. That does mean I will be making more and more videos. You'll be seeing way more of me, hopefully. So sorry I've been gone for a year. My bad. It will not happen again. And I will see you in the next video.